Greetings of the day, students. My name is Dr. Jatin Kapadiya, and I've been teaching in Paul University since a couple of years. Now, this topic that I've been given is speaking skills, interaction, pronunciation skills, and classroom interactions. Right. Now, this is something I would love to talk about when it comes to speaking skills in English. And before I begin, let me begin the journey that how somebody can speak in English. So I would like to begin my journey as a student. So from student to teacher, and from teacher to training teachers, right? And like other aspects are there, right? So I still remember the classroom where I had, and I remember the Professor Soumya Joshi, and like you must have heard, one not two out. So he happens to be my teacher, and I still remember that when he used to come in the classroom, and he had his own way of teaching. So I still remember this class, and the reason is that the class was very lively. So as a teacher, first job of yours is to make your class lively. Students do have problems related to homework, some little stress, maybe some problems at your home, at their home or something, whatever it can be there, right? So I would say that the first job as a teacher, focus on students' behavior. That how do they, like you must have seen the Tare Zameen Par movie, right? So in that movie you see that the focus of the Amir Khan, this Amir Khan, you see his character, that the child is suffering from dyslexia, and when he found that he is unable to talk to, though he is very talented, and at the end of this movie we found out that how uh, how he became successful. He came up with the flying colors, right? And he proved that point. So people have this as a teacher. uh, uh, we have to balance out the behaviors of the students in the classrooms when it comes to teaching, right? Now, before I begin this, the whole scenario of this language, always try to follow some logical aspects. And when we see logical aspects, I always prefer that when you learn language must be learned in this four category. The categories are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now, when we cover these aspects, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, the first thing, we compare ourselves with the mother tongue, right? Second theory is that can we learn the English that we have learned through mother tongue, that like the people, the relatives that have taught us, like not in a formal setup, but we learned it, right? It's a very natural, in a very natural way we have learned it. So that is fine. This concept as a teacher, you need to understand that when we learn first language, we have this urge, this infinite urge. Like when you look at the child and you observe a child, the child is observing everything, and whatever you say, that child will give you the reflection. Yes or no? Yes. That child does reflect. So whatever is being spoken to them. So whatever he doesn't know many times, child doesn't know that what is being spoken, what he has been receiving from other sides, but he is understanding, right? He is learning. In the same way, as a teacher, when we look at the students, what actually you find? You find that they are children, right? And it's your job as a teacher that you're supposed to be teaching in such a way, making the environment live. The student must wait for the class, and as a student, if they are not waiting for the classroom, it means there is still a job left to be done as a teacher, I would say. So the first thing I would say in terms of language. Second thing is that language, it's just not some grammatical aspects. Language is culture. Language is behavior. If I don't know, let me just give this survey, especially done in the field of psychology, that 65% of communication is being done through our body language. So before learning language, you must learn body language. I would say. And then these 34% of aspects, still there is a great scope of research in this field that will come out. But as long as we know now, so this thing, 33% of communications come verbal and non-verbal, and then these aspects will come. There, this listening, speaking, reading, and writing will occur. Now, as a teacher's job, I would say, the most difficult one, because you have to be an actor, you have to be a director, you have to be a leader, you have to be a politician, you have to be anything, I would say. Yes, because teacher is the most difficult job. I don't know, like in many countries, this job is considered the toughest one. Especially in some of the countries, I have heard that the primary teachers are getting more salary compared to the professors. The reason is that because you are shaping the future of childs, right? So that's this thing we need to understand. Fine. So we are talking about the speaking skill, listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Those modules we learn. Now we are talking about the first language concept, that you learn first language through your mother tongue. So let me remind you, let's just get back to the past, that how did you learn that language? That's it. You learn by keen observation, right? There were certain sounds you were unable to understand, but you still had this urge. You followed their body language, you followed their gestures and postures, right? Somebody is doing like this, so maybe you used to scare away, right? The same thing I would say is about language. Third thing that I would say that you need to understand in terms of language is the authentic materials. You also need to understand that in India, we have teachers who have been taught, maybe teachers come from CBSE, ICS, and different boards. If I'm not wrong, I guess more than 16 plus boards in India we have, including IB and all others. They have their own exposures. Some of them got international exposures and some of them nationals and all those stuffs. All those stuff is there. Now, in classroom, this scenario, you have to find out that what approach is best when it comes to speaking skills. As a teacher, you always have to find out, you always have to keep offering the motivational source, the inspirational source for speaking skills. Maybe in order to make their careers, maybe in order to present themselves in a public front. See, you also have to explain the importance of this language. Many times students don't understand the importance, and due to that, they just feel get back. Maybe okay, they feel that okay, we will be marginalized in this. I still remember the days when we had general classrooms and people have this tendency to speak in English. They used to marginalize us. Okay, these people have speaking in mother tongue and some other like in foreign tongue, and we shouldn't accept. And like I still remember the quote "Inqilab Zindabad" or something. I still remember. You might have come across as a student, but that's fine. It's a very natural. If it is meant for just fun, that's fine. But if it is not, you need to be very much serious. Fine. Okay. When we talk of this speaking skills, how would you develop? As a teacher, you need to ponder over. And I would say, see, you can take a case study, you can ask tips, you can go for a little service, and then you develop certain activities which will help them in getting this. First thing is listening. Okay, now I talk of this listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Those modules can be there. And if you like, it's many times for teachers, yes, you might be thinking that, sir, as a teacher, it's very easy to suggest, give a lot of suggestions to the future trainees, teachers. But when it comes to putting in and craving the same thing, molding the same thing into syllabus with limited time, I do understand. As a teacher, I have this anxiety always that whether they're grasping the things they need to get it, whether they're getting or not, I do understand. But all in all, I would say since the 7 years of experience and I've been in this field, I do understand this anxiety and the problems teachers face. But still, this learning, teaching, learning, this journey, I would say, it must be continuous, right? Teacher has to be a learner throughout his journey. Yes. This language learning, like it's not like 1 plus 1 equals to 2. You look at the 1000, back to 1000 years, and it was the same. Language, it can be many ways. Language is arbitrary, language is abstract, languages, many forms, the same things, same words, same expressions can be conveyed. I would say in terms of words can be conveyed in 1000 ways. And that's what the language is, right? You see, when we talk of Bollywood, let me tell you, you will find that that's 8 out of 10 movies I guess based on love. But you still go and watch and you enjoy. The basic ingredients will be the same, the basic love and boy and girl and all those characters. But still you enjoy. The reason? Language, right? So this, you need to understand the power of language. Power is also associated with the language, right? And I guess at this age I don't need to explain, because where every applications and its instruction is in English, and how easily you can download it, and in just no time you can translate, you can transcribe, and many more things can be done. Yes, I love to talk about those tools, but if I am given opportunities, but that will be talking on later on. Right. So this pronunciation skills I'm talking about. In this particular lecture, I'll be dealing with this pronunciation skills, delivering speeches, lectures in the classroom interactions, and some bit of part meetings with students especially. Fine. Now we talk of this pronunciation skills. The first point that you need to focus on: speak slowly and exaggerate the sound. Yes, exaggerate the sound. Speaking slowly. As is, yes, it happened. Let me tell you the story. Through one of my student, when I exposed to the world of movies of Hollywood, right? Especially the Hollywood is situated in USA, so they obviously have this American accents. So the bunch of students came to me asking, "Sir, we are not getting what they've been saying." And my answer to them was that even if you get a single word, that's the learning. This happens, yes, and that happened to me when I exposed myself to 1000 movies where I could understand. And now even some of the movies, let's say Abraham Lincoln, the politician, that you watch the movie, hardly will get anything, because that's a politics, that's a diplomatic thing. They have different registrars. So as a teacher, I'm not saying that you become expert on every subject, on every registrar, as long as the words are there. No, it's not our job. But I guess as a teacher, you have to be master of none, but jack of all trades. Yes, that you have to be, right? So all in all, as a teacher, you always have to be knowledgeable. Yes, and you see reading the newspaper. I most preferably the Hindu newspaper, right? Where I come across certain vocabularies and some other things, and I keep updating myself. Note taking and note making also are very important skills that a teacher should have, because after teachers, students will follow. For them, you see, you are the role model. Many times when I ask in 10 and 12 student that who would like to be, they all will say teachers. The reason is that because they have this influence, they have gotten the influence, right? That you need to understand. This influence creator, yes, I would say from corporate perspective that as a teacher, you are selling yourself. You are a product. And why would people come and buy your product? Yes, because you have something, right? When you go outside, you are so much hungry. You look at samosa, jalebis and other things, right? You find mouth-watering, right? The reason is this: because you just get attracted. You lured by the smell and the other things. When it comes to pronunciation skills, the sounds, yes, you have to create such sounds, such atmosphere. Speaking slowly and exaggerating the sounds will definitely help you. The first thing I would say it. And the same way as a teacher's activities are to be designed so that they speak very slowly. You give them a role play. You ask them in front of yes, make class so lively that the students feel so comfortable with the teachers. Many times it happens that teachers are very strict because they are mark oriented. Maybe some teachers are discipline oriented. Some teachers are many more things are oriented, I would say, yes. But this when it comes to classroom, you have to make it so live that students will come again and again, over and over, right? I always see students asking me, saying, "Good morning, sir, good morning, good morning." So it's not they initiated, it's who I initiated. Whenever I come across a child, I always say, "Good morning, good afternoon, good evening." So they, with this smile, and it plays a vital role in our personality as a language teacher, right? So language teacher, yes, we teachers also have a lot of problems, but when you enter the gate of the school, you put your problems outside. You must have, let me give an example of the airplane cockpit. See that before they enter in the cockpit, captains are say this, you see, put your worries outside because it will be dangerous to the other people, right? In the same way, for teachers, when you enter in the classroom, you have to be very cool. Fine. Let me talk about the other aspect. Pay attention to the physical aspect of pronunciations and paralinguistic features. Yes, paying attention to the physical aspects, how sounds are getting produced. You see, you focus on these jaw. Now I would say, yes, I forgot to tell you this authentic examples. So who would you consider authentic? Let's say the examples of Gujarati speaking people, authentic. Obviously, you will not find in Canada, UK, US or other countries, other part of the world. You will find in Gujarat. In the same way, when you go for this, the authentic examples you will find UK, US and Australia and Canada. I'm not saying that the English teachers, we should import the English teachers from those countries. No, no, no. I'm not saying, I don't want to kill their jobs. But I definitely would say, see, they are the real examples. Because the authentic examples, the way the language is spoken, being spoken in their world. Second thing is that there is a reason behind it. They have come up with this IELTS and TOEFL and some other examinations. Let's say when they want to be a part of our country, they don't have to. When we want to be a part of the country, want to get PR, want to get settled down in their countries, what do? We need to give their examinations. We want to study in their studies for high. We go there for higher living standards, maybe earning dollars or dirhams or so many things are there, right? So your focus, your target, your career, your learning, your dreams, right? There it will help you. I was talking about this physical aspect. Let me come back to this. How do they work? You see, let's say you might have not observed, but let me just give an example. How do we say thank you? In India, when we say thank you, our tongue doesn't come out. But when you look at the people in UK and US and say thank you, and the right pronunciation will come. In the same way, this written, this is a nasal sound, but we always say T. We don't know. We say double T. And what do? Double T, it means two pressure is to be written. We try t, or we produce t, different sound, but we won't get it the actual sounds because we won't. Because we don't understand the structure, because we don't know how the sounds are getting produced, right? So for that, you need to understand the paralinguistic features, right? Now this nasal sound that I produced, written, kitten, are you getting? There are techniques to be learned. And how do you learn this? When you observe people, right? So this observe that how sounds are produced. Google has done a fantastic job in this. Why? The reason, let me tell you this. When you put the pronunciation in Google, even they will put the sketch, right? So in your mobile, you don't need to go anywhere else. Don't need to buy any expensive dictionary, I would say. Just look at the mobile, click on the word, and you see the structure, that how sounds are getting produced. Observe second, third times. Like Thomas Alva Edison has 10,000 plus attempt in inventing the bulb. And due to this, we can see this. You don't have to do that much attempt, I would say. 5, 10 attempts are more than enough, right? So, practice. Language requires a lot of practice. As a teacher, you have to give a lot of examples, so they'll understand, they will digest, they will be palatable examples, I would say. Yes. Third thing is that whenever I happen to deliver a speech, I always do the little analysis of the audience. And this analysis helps me understanding that what level of the students. Let's say I've been invited to some parts of some urban areas in so city. So I do understand. I have this. I call my friends that what exactly are they? They are from CBSE board, ICSE board, vernacular medium. What do they understand? Intermediate, upper intermediate, lower intermediate, right? So you prepare your lessons accordingly. And if you are doing it, your half job is done. You will win this war of teaching, I would say. Yes. Just kidding, not the war actually. But the best thing that you motivate, it always motivates. See, when my session ends and students come and ask me, so thank you very much that we learned today. And we are waiting for the next class, that now what's going to happen in the next class, right? So that thing I would say you must be doing in your classrooms. You are role model. I would say, when I ask the students that what you want to be, so looking at me, so I want to be teacher, sir. Teachers is great, something they've been doing great things, right? So that kind of environment you have to create. Let us get back to this physical aspects. So this physical aspects, as long as the grammar let us look at from the grammar and this perspective, paralinguistic features. So this tempo, rhythm, tone, accent, dialect, right? All those things you're supposed to be teaching, right? Because these aspects we don't cover. Yes or no? These aspects, when we learnt our mother tongue, nobody has taught us. Like my mom never has taught me this, that you come and I'll teach you the pitch, that this is a slow pitch, this is a high pitch, and you speak in this way, and there's a falling and rising intonation. No, nobody has taught you. But in other language, we have to. Because when we learn language, it's not our mother tongue, we learn through this process, the first language and the second language. When we were learning first language, we didn't need any vehicle. We learned it naturally. But when we learn the second language and other languages after that, we need the base of the language, right? So I would say I'm not that much expert that whether which approach is to be applied. But I would definitely say that you have to ask the students, and as per their the answers you receive from the classrooms, you have to take the right approach, right? Paralinguistic features, accent, pitch, tempo, rhythm, the sounds, and many more are there. They need to be taught, they need to be addressed, and once they get addressed, they will understand that all okay. When it comes to pronunciation skills, these things also play vital roles in to be a good speaker, right? Let us go to the next slide. Listening to the pronunciation focused podcast and video. Podcasts. I don't know whether you have heard. If you have heard this, you have come across this podcast, then it's good. And if it is not, then let me explain. Podcast is nothing but a type of MP3 file. You see, before that era, you see that I was able to download a lot of songs. Now I can record myself and I put it somewhere else. People, if they would love to listen to me, they come and they listen to me, whatever the ideas or whatever the content I said in terms of audio file. So that audio file type of file is considered a podcasts. Google Podcasts is there, Spotify podcasts have, and number of podcasts will be coming. Anchor is one more application that you can Google it out, right? Yes, if you will contact me, definitely I'll be sharing all the resources that I have created for this podcasts and videos. Yes, you have the power of mobile. When I was a student, I didn't have this mobile. I still remember the Nokia 3315 was just one simple game I was playing and doing nothing. Now you can record yourself. Like you just start role play, you record yourself and ask them that what are the things to be done, right? So that you will understand not only this listening, but many more things are there. And let me tell you this, the world in couple of years will be changed like anything. I would say teachers will be facilitators because contents have been prepared in such a way that artificial intelligence based teachers and interfaces, they've been doing many things, right? Before this, I was back to a couple of years, I was in Dubai and I see that the level of students, I had the students from this Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and there's some of them from Philippines, so they call it Filipinos. So students were there. The level they're coming, but the culture, the traditions, the urge they had in terms of learning language, that was marvelous that I was in teaching, right? When I compare the same in Indian students, they have less. And if there is a less, so as a teacher, it's not me to blame them. Oh, these teachers, this bunch of students don't know anything. They come from this area and everybody is so passive. I guess, why should I waste my time? No. It's ultimately your job. Take it as a challenge. Why you don't take it as a challenge? That why, if there is a problem in your classroom, you are responsible. It's your classroom. Nobody else is going to come. God, you're waiting for God. God will come and no. It's who you can create that atmosphere in terms of this. Speak in such a way, show them the videos, motivate in such a way so that will say, they will, if they won't speak, they will feel, oh my God, I'm going to be marginalized in this world, right? So this way you need to speak. Fine. Practice saying tongue twisters. Yes, tongue twisters are my personally favorite. Let me tell you this thing. And the reason for this is, you see, they love it. I've been to CBSE board, I've been to ICSE board and many boards, and I found that when I introduce this, the tongue twisters, they love it. So, and as a, it's not one student. Don't ask one student to speak it. Just go, give them and ask them, and they will, your entire class will energized. They will feel energized. Oh my God. It's not nothing but some tongue twister. You see how much wood, a wood chuck. How much wood, a wood chuck. Or ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream, right? I love it when it comes to pronunciation skills. Let me tell you, I absolutely love this portion. And the reason is this, you see, tongue twisters, they enjoy, right? Before you explain this thing, and this explanation, I would say, you teach in such way, right? This world, this classroom is your world. I would say, consider as a teacher that you are a god to your classrooms. And in terms of teaching, you are blessings. You are giving a lot of blessings in terms of teaching, so that you're supposed to be doing in classroom. Listen to pronunciation focused. Okay, I just has come back again. Okay, the next slide. Incorporate English listening into your lifestyle. Yes. Okay. Incorporate English listening into your lifestyle. Yes. How would you incorporate as a teacher in English into your lifestyle? There are n number of ways. Yes. The first thing that you need to understand is what psychology says. Let me tell you this. Psychology believes that we daily come across different 60,000 thoughts. Yes or no? Now, most probably they are the same, going to college, schools, and coming back and sleeping and something new, watching movies, and they are hardly 0.01% creative ideas. But we are not talking about the creative, we're talking about the ideas. See, these many nerves, like when a child, you won't believe that when a child born, he has got more than 3 billion plus nerve cells, neurocells. That much power we have been given by God. Right? And no other species in this world has been given this much of power, right? The sounds that we have been creating, the voices we have been creating. Recently I come across a research that even the sounds we speak create a positive environment. Yes, and it's true. It has the scientific logic, right? So that can be created. If a teacher is like sad and maybe as worried, maybe his expressions are like not, which is, I would say, awkward, learning will not take place. You have to be very positive, right? As a trainee teachers, you have to be very positive. Fine. Incorporating English listening into your lifestyle plays vital role, right? See, always the moment you enter in the classroom, the students must believe that, oh my God, there is some teacher who has come from UK, USA kind of thing. Role play. Go for the role plays. Like I believe, let's say you must have seen one of the movies where the hero was playing he was always constantly talking to Mrs. Goodino. Now Mrs. Goodino is nothing but imaginative character, but he used to talk to her, and he was explaining everything. The same way you talk with yourself, that there is somebody, you are in USA, you in UK, and when you go there, you go to the shop, and what do you ask? You ask this, okay, how may I get it, sir? What is the cost of this? How may I get it? How much money do you need? How much, whatever the reasons, whatever the sentences, even the sentences are not in full, break sentence come up. Mistakes are bound to take place. Without making mistakes, without committing mistakes, you don't expect that somebody become an expert. I have committed and I've been committing 1,000 mistakes and getting that perfection, right? And this perfection will never come because I have to be a learner throughout my life. This concept has to be understood by teacher. Even if you want to explain the same thing to students, I don't have any problem. But don't be, because you're not creating the experts, you've been teaching English language then. Fine. Practice difficult sounds and break down words into syllables. Yes, one more important aspects of this. Let's see. If I remember the school days, nobody has taught me how to read dictionary. Some of the teachers may come across, oh, shall we teach them this, how to read dictionaries? Oh, it's not her job. Yes, we have to. When you download any applications from this Google Play, you read the instructions. Before reading the instruction, can you play it? Can you do that? Whatever the things you're bound to do? No, you don't. Same way, dictionary reading is very much important, and every aspect, every instructions is very important as long as the language is there. This concept has to be understood by every teacher. Not only it doesn't applies to only English teachers, but any of the worlds. That whatever this practice needed, right? Syllables, stressed, unstressed syllables. Yes, let me give you one example, right? When we teach tenses to the students in classrooms, do we give them segregation that whether this is tense, whether this is modal verbs, or whether this is helping verbs? We don't. Because I was getting confused. I had this question that why this cannot be converted into tenses and why this cannot be converted into this. This you need to understand. Students are getting stuck into this. You are okay when it comes to speaking English, some producing some finest sentences, some vocab, some speeches, delivering meetings and everything. You're fine. But have you come across, have you asked ever that whether they're getting stuck? I got stuck, and when I teach tenses, I always give them this segregation that these things come into this category, this thing fall into this category, and these things will come to this category. You might not have calculated the types of sentences English language has, but they are more than 100 types of, covers everything. Simple, comparative, and complex, and passive and active tenses. Then there are other forms, this modal auxiliaries, and then other forms. Many more forms are the gerunds, intonations, and optative sentence, and these things. Yes. Now, can we do, sir? We have just gotten 45 minutes or let's say 1 hour. Is it possible? It is possible. Before making them learn language, you learn them how languages is to be learned, how notes are to be created in that, right? It happens. One thing that is very common, you see, let me tell you. In the 6th semester, in the 6th year, in the 7th year, in the 8th, 9th, 10th standard, whatever the standards, you see that the same syllabus is there. Like some things are getting added, some more sentences are getting added, but all are all the same. So from the very beginning, from the 5th or 6th standards, those students must be taught that how to make and create notes, because the same notes, the same level of understanding is to be added. We are not learning Chinese in the 6th semester, in the 6th standard, not in 7th something else, not in 8th in Telugu. No, the same language. I mean to say, we are learning the same language and some elements are getting added, right? So this you need to understand. And I would say this, if from the 5th or 6th standard, teachers start teaching through step by step, making them notes, because the same notes, assignments are meant to be signed, maybe getting or giving marks, and then to be thrown. Nobody knows where their assignments are you getting. So those assignments given in 6 semesters, 6 standards, 7 standards, or 8 standards, they are very important. Whether you have semester system, whether you have year system, you preserve, and are preserving because they have been adding. So how would you create? With colors, with your coding and decoding. Teach them coding, decoding. I mean to say that if it is a tense related problem, put it yellow color. If this is a helping verb related problem, go for green. If it is parts of speech something related problem, go for some other colors, right? So teach them this thing, and if you are able to do this thing, not at all, no problems will have in their pronunciation skills. always give them the authentic materials. First you explain, you give them definition, then explanations, and then you put them in the best examples. Many times teachers don't give best examples. Maybe they are not aware about it, or maybe they haven't exposed themselves to them, right? This is a world of technology, and especially after Corona, you see where everybody is from home and classes are being going on, right? We need to understand that how important some applications are for us. See, we have understood the value of those. In the same way, n number of pronunciations applications are there. Either you go with a video and teach them this something important thing, right? Let's go to the next point. Practice difficult sounds and break down words into syllables. Yes, difficult sounds. That always we have this tendency, when as a teacher I see, that I always prefer speaking simple sentences as long as the students are not getting. But when you say that the students have been getting anything, you need to switch to other role. Why? The reason is that there is a basic psychology that, okay, I am able to get it everything. I don't have any issue. Those students, those handful students, I wouldn't say every student understand everything, but those handful students will come to your class because they want something extra. Yes or no? So that extra, that something 10-20%, which they are not aware, they confused that, okay, there must be something new, need to be served, need to be offered by you as a teacher. Syllables plays vital role. Syllable is to be taught. Dictionaries, introduction to different dictionaries, varieties of dictionaries, collocations dictionary, learning dictionaries, phrases, phrasal verbs, this antonyms, synonyms, homonyms. Yes, these things they need to get introduced to. You also introduced to the world of the Norman Lewis, where you will find that the books, the way he has written. So that kind of that kind of approach you should have when you are preparing yourself for the classrooms. Right, let us go to the next slide. Practice at home and record yourself. The best thing I ever do when I want to self-analysis. The best analyzer you have is your self-analysis. You do the self-analysis. Consider yourself that you are going for a public speaking. Maybe the next Toastmasters. You might have heard about the Toastmasters. If you haven't, in YouTube, put International Toastmasters and you would find the best speech. The people from all over the world have this single platform, and then you will find the variety of speeches on one platform. You go for the TED Talks. Yes, there you also will find speakers. Large number of speakers are there, and they're powerful speeches that can change the world, right? So that kind of examples must be given by teachers in the classroom. Ask them that there is a competition. Record yourself. Ask them, maybe students are getting nervous. Students are not coming to the classrooms. Ask them that send me a video. I'll look at this and find the mistakes. You always motivate them. Because you see, if the students are coming from the poor background in terms of learning, not in this monetary wise, but from this background, they don't know anything, just give them the positive feedbacks. And when you think that they are going something ahead, start giving them the reasonable, balanced feedback and then negative aspects. So this learning will never end, right? Learning it's a very infinite thing. Learning never ends. I am and I have been and I will have been all good learners. That's it. That's what we are supposed to be doing. Shadowing native speakers. Yes, shadowing native speakers. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Thanks to this technology. And large number of applications are there. There you will directly can talk to native speakers. Yes, and the reason is that when your native speaker speaks, they have this. You got it. You will get the best version out of it when you talk to them, because they have their own way of speaking. Many things are that. You won't believe. Let me give an example. That in India we say petrol, but in US they say gas. Interesting, right? It sounds interesting. We say tap, they say faucet. We say driver, they say some chauffeur, right? This you need to understand. The same English, but it's being spoken in different way, right? They have this tendency, it ain't coming, right? So you need to understand, they don't speak it. Many times in terms of pronunciation, in terms of colors, sorry, and not colors, but in terms of their spelling. You see, COLOR as LOR and COLOUR, right? The same pronunciations. Many times, as a verb, something else, content and content. Let me give this one more example. You might come across. Many teachers say this, use this, content and content. You need to understand. Look at whether it is verb as a verb you're using or as a noun you've been using. In the same way, extempore. It's not extempore, it's extempore. Yes, you Google it out. Just now you find it. It's not extempore, extempore. It's kind of impromptu speech, right? Always, I believe, yes, I watch movies, I look at the subtitles, and I follow them. I record, I follow them. Record and follow them. And this is how we learn language. Many of the sounds, right? Yes, this happens. You find some of the speakers will find that they have the reflections of their mother tongues. This happens. We need to follow them. Let me give an example of a cake, CAKE, one application that I recommend. There you will find the videos, they have cut it down, they have explained everything, and that application will ask you that you record yourself, and they will give you marks that whether the pronunciation was right or wrong, right? This is one example. Other applications are there. You also can learn and you can enjoy those. So those kind of things can be done. Those kinds of activities can be created by teachers, and this is how they learn language. Reading aloud every day. Yes, reading aloud is also one of my favorite activities, and I do it. I speak like a speech that I am offering a speech to somebody. I am addressing 1,000 people, right? I consider myself Modi, and I start speaking that I am speaking to a people, large number of people. The reason? This motivates me, and also unconsciously I'm learning. Yes. This is something not conscious learning, but this is unconsciously. Unconsciously, you are correcting your pronunciation. After shadowing, you go for the reading aloud every day. Reading loudly is very also important. Reading loudly, go to some place. I'm not saying that you go and disturb somebody's class. No, as a teacher, I don't recommend. But when you find that there are opportunities, you go to garden. This learning is something that it must be natural. And give them the roles that you be some politicians, you be some the kind of speeches they have. You offer them that these many speeches are there, and speeches divided into such way so that they gather, right? You give them drama. Ask for them to create a drama for themselves, and the drama. Let's say Rama and Mahabharata, the Rama and the Mahabharata, everybody knows. Give them one scene and ask them. You translate and play. They will do like anything, they will learn everything. The reason, because they know everything, in a translated version, they will start learning, right? This reading aloud every day, yes. Ask them that what exactly their area of that interesting, right? Many love sports, many love something else. Maybe, let me tell you, when I started learning, it was the Champak story in English. I don't know whether it's still there, but still I used to read because I was learning this sentences. Story reading, yes. So give them story, ask them to read it loudly. Don't worry even if they're not getting the sounds. Others are receiving the sounds, and he is creating the sounds. That learning process unconsciously has been working, right? You need to understand that you have offered them. Okay, let us go to the next important thing. Delivering speeches and lectures. Okay, so here we, I guess, end all those techniques, methods, tips, methodologies, I would say, in terms of improving their pronunciation skills, right? I would say, as you try to cover all the aspects of this listening. So, like, yes, if you ask me, sir, let's say in 40 or 45 minutes, what are the things to be done as long as the pronunciation skills are there? Then the first thing is that always introduce with tongue twisters. You ask them, you see, let's say there is a class of 40 or 60 students, might be 30. Give them different rules that after prayers, assign them things. Okay, I still remember when I had been taught this in B.Ed classrooms, we had these activities that when some teachers come, before teachers, We have to do activity. Somebody has to extempore, cheats were ready, somebody has to come and speak something on whatever the topic. So topics were getting changed, live topics were there, topics related to, let's say, the problems, issues of this farmers happening now, the other things, the technological, the mobile related things. Ask them to launch a product. Yes, this is where the real learning is, because they know. Ask them to make an advertisement in English and also come up with some slogans, right? So when they create, you see, they will love it. Their idea come out of your mind, their mind, and they will start learning language, right? This thing as a teacher must be done, and teacher love it. See, you need to understand, you need to wear the shoes of students, and once you wear those shoes, your job is done. Okay, so as long as these pronunciation skills are, many more tips are there, but I consider these tips are something of very important, and if you apply in day-to-day life, I guess as a teacher, this will definitely help you, right? Recording yourself and giving judgment to others, or recording and then ask others or ask somebody who is expert on it, will definitely help you. I would say, yes, let me give an example. Before it was forbidden in our country now, TikTok. lot of TikTok stars were there, and they will come out. They were making a lot. You see, the same thing can be created. Yes, my dear students, my dear teacher trainees, the same things can be created in the classroom. Yes, we always want that mobiles to be banned. I don't have any problem is to be banned. We need to follow all those rules and regulations decided by universities. But in like once in a while, you give them something. You ask them that you make such video, 30 seconds, 1 minute video, but must be in English. Ask them to create content. They'll create the content. Ask them to direct a 3-minute or 4-minute movie. Yes. Short film. Yes. And there the real active learning will come up. Right? As an engineer, when I've been teaching in engineering college, I always get fascinated with the videos they kind of make when I give them role play. Yes, they love it, they enjoy it, and they always want me to, sir, come again for this kind of activities, with these kind of activities, right? So those activities are to be created. One more activity I would like to introduce, that the students' favorite is live boat activity. What exactly this? That live boat, like live boat, you understand, right? That when the main ship is about to sink down in this, there are certain little boats where you'll be able to help you survive, right? So those live boats, let's say one captain is there, and he'll say there are 5 positions in live boat, and there are 10 people. So you give presentation to the captain that why they are to be saved. What is the reason? So they'll come up, they will defend themselves. Yes or no? They will defend themselves. Sir, captain, I am important because I know even the swimming, I know cooking, I have so many skills. So you offer me this job, offer me the position in your boat, and we will be able to survive. Right? We only have 5 have left, we will survive. Those kind of activities are to be given to them. Fine. So these pronunciation skills I would like to end up here. Let us go to the next topic. I would say delivering speeches and lectures. Yes, the most important task when a teacher enters in the classroom, that what should be there. See, instruction method. Yes, I would say I consider one instruction method. Yes, when you deliver instructions to the students, always deliver in a step-by-step manner. When you give some piece of papers, you ask them to read it out, they won't be getting. It's who you need to ask them. Confirm them that whether they have gotten or not. I'll always phrase and rephrase with different sentences. Try to get to know that whether they have been getting or not. Preparation. I would say victory loves preparation. Yes. If you want to win this, I would say definitely that plays a vital role. Preparation, you need a lot of preparation before going to the class. And the reason for the preparation is, you know that you're going to help a lot many students in terms of learning. Activity-based learning, yes. Always, you see, whatever I would say, syllabus finishing is also very important, and there is no doubt into it. But always come up with some activity. Students love activity. If you don't put them into it, they won't be learning, right? This chalk and talk methods, ask them whether they're getting bored or not. It's not suitable, right? In the age of when you in your classroom and student know that somebody is teaching in some beautiful way, right? Some beautiful faces in teaching some fantabulous manner, and you come up with this thing, will not accept it. They will consider it's a very boring thing, right? So this you need to finish. Other methods that I would love to I would recommend to teachers is total physical response, this community activity based learning, community based learning and teaching, that could be there, and situation based learning. Yes, give them situation, put them in situation that we have, like kind of role play, right? So that we also can talk about. I would say these many things are there. I would love to share whatever the ideas or whatever the I would love to get the feedback in case if you have gone through any problem. Fine. So I have, I guess, covered all those aspects, as long as the pronunciation skills or classroom interactions or classroom delivering speeches or preparations as a teacher to be done. And future teachers, I would say, you can play vital role. You see, as a teacher, your the student's future is in your hand, right? And you can shape, you can mold their career. So thank you very much, students, for giving me such a time. Have a great day.